November, the month where America eats all the turkey and the British light a load of bonfires and set a load of fireworks off because of history, I think.
It's weird when you put it like that, isn't it?
Yeah, but also, more importantly, video games.
Yes.
There's so many video games coming out this month. Mike, are you excited?
I am so hyped. You can't even tell, but there's a boiling reactor of hype inside me.
Yes.
It's painful, actually.
The third installment of the action RPG classic Diablo 3, The Eternal Collection, comes to Nintendo Switch, complete with all DLC as well as some Nintendo exclusives. Play through this fantasy world on your own or with your friends, and now on the move. So, Diablo 3, but on the go.
Yes, and with extra Nintendo bits, a bit
Yeah.
like they did with Skyrim, right?
Yeah,
So they put Zelda stuff in Skyrim. These extra bits of loot will have people foaming at the mouth.
Yes.
For me, like, Diablo's very cool and it's a very impressive achievement. But it's not the sort of RPG I'm that bothered about. I kind of like inhabiting the world, a kind of first-person perspective,
Yeah,
a bit
you're
like
not
Skyrim.
really- it's a bit
But the
more
top-down
top-down,
thing, yeah, it's a bit more kind of hack and slash, and it is more about the kind of loot, which I'm sort of immune to, weirdly. I don't really care about loot. But I appreciate that A, it is a very popular game, B, it has that kind of blizzardy magic, right? They don't really make bad games.
No.
Same with sort of Skyrim and Dark Souls. Those big sort of RPGs are great for kind of on the move because it means you can just get some like chores done, basically.
get some
RPG
questing,
quests
side quests done,
when you're on the bus or on the plane or wherever you're going.
Yeah, it's all good. Magic. I know you throw jars of spiders.
Jars of spiders, yeah, you probably want to steer clear of that particular character. It's awesome.
Agent 47 is back with a whole load more targets to take out in Hitman 2. You'll be able to social stealth and regular stealth your way through brand new levels, stealing outfits and hiding in crowds thanks to some updates to Agent 47's abilities. So I think
More Hitman.
You're excited.
Super excited, yeah. Had a chance to play bits and bobs of this, including the new multiplayer mode, right?
Yeah.
So there's a multiplayer mode, which I don't think anyone was really expecting from Hitman 2. It's interesting. There's a video on Outside Xbox of me and Andy playing it, and I'm basically winding Andy up massively, which is perfect.
Oh no.
Oh, that's annoying.
Hurry, Andy, hurry.
All right.
You're falling behind.
I got surprised by a mirror. I saw a man with a sniper rifle running towards me and I freaked out.
Oh, well, now I'm being shot because everyone saw me do that.
Yep.
Oh, Andy.
Oh no,
you
it's
should have
all
been more
all
subtle,
coming
probably.
apart.
Well, I had a time
Seems-
limit on me.
Essentially, you're sort of sharing the same level at the same time, but you're not in the same world with each other. So yeah, it's a really interesting take on it. I think it would have maybe been difficult technically to make Hitman multiplayer work any other way, so I will definitely take it. Plus, just a bunch more Hitman levels, new sniper challenges as well, and hopefully the same sort of level of kind of support going beyond the release that the original or the previous Hitman got. Because that game has just kept us busy for like
Release
2
of
years solid.
targets.
Yeah,
So
release of
good.
targets, new missions, new versions of different levels. So
And
like
you can replay them because they're
Yeah.
retroactively putting new features in the first game.
Right, so your Hitman 2 package will allow you to play all these levels from Hitman 1, but with new abilities like you can kind of hide in bushes and things, and you can be spotted in mirrors. You can't just do that thing where you walk up behind someone who's looking in a mirror and garrot them and they won't notice
Yeah,
you.
they'll be like, hey, what
They'll
are
be
you
freaked
doing?
out, yeah. So
You're not a
in the same way that you would be
vampire.
freaked out if you were standing in the mirror and someone sort of sidled up to you. And was like,
Hi.
so yeah.
Rubber duck.
Also, I'm sure you want to play as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I just did all the Hitman talking there. I'm sorry.
They let me play.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a little secret. I've got a higher mark than Andy in some levels. So
Oh, what? Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
I did on Twitter.
You might be approaching. He's going to appear behind you in a mirror one day. But you'll be able to spot him.
Yeah.
Thanks to your upgraded senses of sight and stuff.
This November, a certain nostalgia-punching dragon will be painting the town purple and gold. Yes, Spyro is back in his Reignited Trilogy, which sees Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, and Spyro Year of the Dragon remastered and ready to play on Xbox One and PS4. So, Spyro fans are excited.
Yes.
I was actually...
Does that include you?
Well, I've never played Spyro.
Oh,
But I was
really?
chatting with some friends who did when they were younger, and they were like, I'm seeing the new adverts and I don't understand. That's exactly how I remember it. And seeing the original graphics, they're like, no, they did something to change that.
It's like
always
classic
looked this
yeah,
good.
classic rose-tinted, memories of those games. Yeah, I assume there was just two teams, wasn't there? There was like Team Spyro and Team Croc, Legend of the Gobbos, probably.
That was Team Croc.
Spyro is great, and I think actually it will stand up quite nicely as a sort
Yeah.
of like platformer. Played pretty well. The music's amazing.
The music's amazing. Also, there's an amazing feature that you can either play the remastered music, the new music,
Right.
or you can go back and play the old music.
Yeah, because it was a PlayStation game, so it's not sort of like, it wasn't like chip-tuney sort
No.
of 16-bit stuff. It was well-produced CD quality music.
It was written by the drummer from The Police.
Yeah, Stuart Copeland, right?
What?
Yeah. It's really good. There's the theme that plays in the first sort of area in, and it's got these brilliant guitars and stuff.
so
It's
good.
really, really well done.
Yeah, no, I've played it. It plays really well. It's really fun. So I think Spyro fans will be happy.
Cool.
The world of Fallout is going multiplayer, as Fallout 76 sees you wandering in a world with no humans in it but players and maybe a few angry ghouls. Set in West Virginia, Fallout 76 features the first vault to be opened after nuclear war on Reclamation Day, as vault residents set out to reclaim the wasteland. With both co-op and PvP, it's an interesting departure from the usual single-player experience. So, Fallout 76, you
Yes.
excited?
I am, but cautiously excited, right?
Yeah.
Because until we get out into the world with all the other players, it's impossible to know whether this will be any good or not. I know Andy's played a bit of it, and I think in a technical sense, it was a little bit shaky. I do like that they've kind of tried to reduce the potential for griefing quite
Yeah.
heavily, so you have to want to be part of a fight.
Yeah, if someone just shoots you loads,
It does
it'll
a tiny amount of damage.
of health. It's only when you shoot back that it actually deals
Yeah.
the damage that it should.
It turns into a little duel, basically. So I think that's a good idea. I'm interested in the kind of lore and the fact that this is the first kind of vault to open and reclaim that wasteland.
And apparently, like, this Vault 76 is supposed to be the best and brightest
Yes.
of America. So I'd like to see how many people immediately prove them wrong by doing really stupid things.
I'll
as soon as they
immediately
get
fall off the cliff outside the.
I'm the best.
It's a Fallout game. Bethesda make really good games, so I've got some faith. But this is definitely, they seem to be out of their comfort zone. Their comfort zone being big single-player RPGs or very cinematic single-player sort
Yeah.
of shooters and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Curious, very curious. I will definitely play it and give it a good go. But who knows? I know there are a lot of Fallout fans who just would never touch an online multiplayer
Yeah.
game. So whether it can convert those guys or not,
Yeah,
I don't know.
a world that's 4 times bigger than Fallout 4, but it's got to have the stuff to do.
Yeah, does it have enough to do in there, basically? And because there are no other human characters as far as I can tell, it's all players. So will they provide enough engagement and reason to come back? Because if you're into Fallout for the kind of storyline, it's going to be very limited in terms of what's delivered to you.
Classic large-scale multiplayer series Battlefield is going to World War II. There have not only been some updates to the weaponry as the setting moves forward in time, but there will be more player customization, new multiplayer modes, and of course, the new Battle Royale mode Firestorm. Also, unlike Blocks 4, Battlefield 5 will feature a single-player campaign, as well as the combined arms co-op mode, with dynamic missions and objectives that cannot be played the same way every time. So we played some of this at Gamescom.
We did, yeah. It looks beautiful. It's a very,
Yeah.
very pretty looking game.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be good. I like that it's going back to World War II because the very first Battlefield game, Battlefield 1942, was set in World War II, and it's a really nice balance in terms of the vehicles, like the air vehicles, for example, aren't too overpowered. They're useful but not like completely OP. The weapons are kind of interesting to handle and play with. I think there's some interesting maps. The Rotterdam map that we
was
played was
great.
really beautifully laid out. It's almost like sort of V shape, and each of the control points was a really different sort of experience in terms of capturing. So that's really, really exciting. And then like you said, it's got a campaign mode, so War Stories is back. And that was really, really good in Battlefield 1. Really interesting sort of miniature like story arcs for different characters in different corners of the war, which is very, very cool. So I'm looking forward to this. I think the Firestorm, which is the Battle Royale mode, I think it's coming sort of later on.
Yes.
So I'm hoping they get that right.
Yeah.
What I find hilarious about Firestorm though is that they've tried to, you know how like Battle Royale is just nonsense. It's like, why are these people jumping out of a plane? Why is there a ring that is contracting around the map? None of this makes any sense. In Firestorm, there's literally fire around you and the fire is getting closer and closer. Like they've tried to make it a real thing and you're like, okay, that's fine. Battlefield 1 was impressive, but I think it had some problems when people sort of spent like enough time with it, and so I'm hoping they've sort of ironed out those issues, and that Battlefield 5 will be good and exciting and a return to form for the Battlefield series. I certainly felt like I was actually able to shoot people, which is not always the case in a Battlefield game. Quite often I'm like, this time I actually managed to get some kills, which is good. So yeah, looking forward to it.
This November, Pokemon gets an overhaul. A twist on the classic Pokemon Yellow, in Pokemon Let's Go, you can catch wild Pokemon with a special Pokeball controller, which works more like Pokemon Go, with battles only taking place against trainers. Plus, which copy of the game you choose determines whether you start with adorable Pikachu or adorable Eevee.
Are you going to be Pikachu or Eevee?
I think Eevee's cuter. Sorry, Pikachu. I think
Well,
Eevee's slightly more adorable.
I think between Luke and I, well, if we get, like, he'll have to get the Pikachu one, of course,
Right.
and then I'll get the Eevee one.
Because you don't know what Pikachu looks like. You wouldn't be able to identify it in the game shop. Sorry.
It's a bit different.
Yeah, right.
I've tried the little Pokeball controller.
What does it look like?
It's a ball
Right.
with an analog stick, which
That's
you can
weird.
like click in and you move it around, and because literally all you need to do is walk around and select things.
Right.
And like throw, that you hold it and you go. It's like motion control. So when you're
Right.
throwing the ball at a wild Pokemon. So that works like Pokemon Go. So you bump into a wild Pokemon and you just throw the ball
Right,
at them rather
okay.
than battle them.
What if you're playing it like portably?
And there will
Do you have
be,
to hold the Switch? It's on Switch, right?
There will be different ways to do it in the Switch.
You
it's
hold
just
the
that
one hand and throw over it?
it's optional. Like they always have like a
Good.
non-movement.
That's what I wanted to hear.
version.
It's optional, and I can just play it like a normal
for those
video
people
game.
who want to get like into the game,
Not me.
push.
I know I'm going to be as far out of the game as possible. People seem to be getting really sort of stressed about or excited about is the battles are only trainers, right?
Yeah, and in the gyms and that's it. Like it's
So you don't do
just-
the battles to capture the Pokemon.
Nope, you just throw the ball at them. And it's been very influenced by Pokemon Go and the success of that. I think it'll be quite good for younger kids. So like if you're looking for a particular Pokemon, you have to like just find the area where they might pop up and walk around the grass and be like, hello, are you here? Whereas in this game, you see them walking around and you go straight to the one that you want.
Right.
And then you don't have to like battle every single time and have random battles all the time. That might be a good thing, but then like the people who want that classic Pokemon experience, are they gonna feel like, oh, I've not got that? And
Yeah, I guess so. If you're a long-term fan, maybe you'd be annoyed about it, but then I feel like Pokemon Go has been so popular among so many different people. Quite a lot of the audience, their main experience of Pokemon will be Pokemon Go, and they'll feel a bit more comfortable, and this is a way to just give them a bit more game, there's a bit more meat to its bones than Pokemon Go maybe. So could be, well, it's Pokemon, it would be extremely successful, I'm sure.
I think it'll bring in a new, younger group of Pokemasters.
Pokemasters.
Yes, I
Pokey
think,
both in terms of Pokemon and also their size, because
Yeah.
they're a little bit pokey because they're young people.
yeah.
Some
Also,
different
like,
levels.
Get me Pokemon, I want Pokemon.
That is also how you catch a Pokemon. Just keep prodding it until it gives up and climbs into your ball.
Hack and slash action adventure series Darksiders returns from the end of the world with Darksiders 3. This new story will run parallel to the previous games, following the rider of the Black Horse Fury as she tries to take down the 7 deadly sins. She will use a lot of magic, taking on different forms and using all sorts of weaponry on her journey, including a fiery looking whip which will help her solve puzzles along the way.
So like this game totally snuck up on me. Like we went and
Yeah.
saw it at Gamescom and I was like, oh, they've been doing a third one. Okay.
Yeah, it's been quietly in development for quite a
Yeah.
while. And yeah, we saw it. It's kind of, I mean, it's not like a AAA blockbuster job,
No.
but I think it might be quite fun actually.
Yeah.
They've kind of taken some inspiration from Dark Souls insofar as the layout of the world is entirely interconnected. So it's this big apocalyptic landscape based a bit on Earth, but there's loads of plants and things like that. But yeah, it's one of those things where you can be standing at one end of the map and you can see all the way to the other end of the map, and you know that you can get there if you take the right route, which is one of the things I absolutely adore about Dark Souls. So it has piqued my interest maybe more than ordinarily. I've not played either of the previous Darksiders games. I had basically zero interest in them, but Darksiders 3, I'm more intrigued because it takes inspiration from one of my favourite games.
Yeah, and also I think Fury looks quite like an interesting.
Yeah, she's badass.
character.
Yeah,
Like,
the whole
she's like,
whip, the Ivy style whip thing,
Yeah.
and it's nice that they're not tied to, you know, they're kind of the characters from previous Darksiders games were sort of chunky, you know,
They were
like weird looking dudes. She actually looks a bit more like a normally. She's not just a square.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah, she looks like a cool character. I mean, it remains to be seen. It's going to go one of two ways. Either it'll be really interesting, or it'll just be a kind of classic 7 out of 10. You know, like. But you know, I'll give it a whirl. I'll give it a crack.
Yeah, with whip.
A whip crack, indeed. Good.
So those are just some of the games coming out this November. Which one are you most excited about?
Hitman 2.
Yeah.
Definitely Hitman 2. That game has provided us on Outside Xbox with so much fun over such a long period of time.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for Hitman 2. It's going to be great.
I think the same. Actually.
Yeah? Is that the one you're looking forward
yeah.
to? There's some great other stuff in there though, like Battlefield, Fallout 76. Really great time for games, as you'd imagine, just before Christmas.
I'm really intrigued about Fallout 76.
Yeah.
I wanna see how that plays. I wanna see
Yeah.
what that's like, base building and stuff.
Cool.
But yeah, so what are your most anticipated games of November? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed, do give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Outside Extra and also to Outside Xbox to see more Mike and Hitmans. Watch lots of Hitmans. Their Hitman playlist is amazing.
So many Hitmans.
And yeah, we will see you next time. Bye!